Nathan Clark stepped out of his sleek black car and looked up at the old brick building of Horizon Children's Home. The spring sun felt warm on his face after months in climate-controlled environments. He adjusted his expensive suit jacket and took a deep breath. It had been 20 years since he had last visited an orphanage, and 6 years since he had smiled genuinely. "Mr. Clark, everything is ready for your visit," said Olivia Winters, his personal assistant. She was always efficient, always professional. "The director will meet us at the entrance." Nathan nodded. "Thank you, Olivia. Let's keep this simple. No cameras, no press." "Of course, sir. Though I must remind you that word has spread. Your donation is very generous." Nathan didn't care about the money. $5 million was nothing, compared to the billions his company, Starbound Innovations, had made from the Mars Colony project. The donation wasn't about publicity. It was about something deeper, something that had been missing from his life since that terrible day 6 years ago. They walked toward the entrance, where a woman in her 50s with silver-streaked hair waited with a warm smile. "Mr. Clark, welcome to Horizon Children's Home. I'm Grace Martinez, the director. We can't thank you enough for your generosity." Nathan shook her hand. "Please call me Nathan, and no thanks needed. This place is special to me. I spent 3 years here as a child before the Clarks adopted me." Grace's eyes widened. "I had no idea. That makes your gift even more meaningful. Sometimes we need to remember where we came from," Nathan said quietly, "especially after spending so much time looking toward the stars." They entered the building, and Nathan immediately noticed the improvement since his time there. Bright colors on the walls, modern furniture, and clean open spaces. Children's artwork hung everywhere. It was nothing like the drab institution he remembered. "We have 43 children currently," Grace explained as they walked. "Ages range from 3 to 17. Many are from the lunar colonies or Mars outposts where their parents worked before the accidents." Nathan's jaw tightened. "The mining disaster in Mercuricium?" "Yes, and the atmosphere failure at Olympus Station. War orphans from the Proxima conflict, too." Nathan nodded grimly. The expansion into space had brought humanity's problems along with its dreams. His own daughter, Lily, had been just 5 when she disappeared during what the government called an extraterrestrial encounter at his lunar research facility. The official report called it an attack, but there were too many inconsistencies, too many sealed records. "The children are excited to meet you," Grace said, interrupting his dark thoughts. "You're something of a hero to them, especially the older ones interested in space." They entered a large room where about 20 children sat in a circle. They ranged in age from very young to early teens. All eyes turned to Nathan as he entered. "Children, this is Mr. Clark, the kind man who has donated the money for our new science lab and scholarship fund," Grace announced. Nathan smiled and waved awkwardly. He was more comfortable designing spacecraft than talking to children. "Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here." A boy about 12 raised his hand. "Did you really build the first dome on Mars?" "My company did," Nathan replied. "But it took thousands of people working together." "Are there really aliens?" asked a small girl with braided hair. The question hit Nathan like a physical blow. He managed to keep his smile in place. "The universe is very big. We've found simple life forms on other planets, but nothing like us yet. Nothing like whatever had taken his daughter." The children asked more questions about space, which Nathan answered patiently. Then Grace suggested they show him their current science projects. The children eagerly led him to tables where simple experiments were set up. That was when he saw her. She stood slightly apart from the other children, watching him with unusual intensity. A girl about 11 years old with auburn hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. She wasn't particularly remarkable at first glance, but something about her posture, the tilt of her head as she listened, sent a jolt of recognition through Nathan. "Who is that?" he asked Grace quietly, nodding toward the girl. "That's Eleanor. She came to us about 5 years ago. Very bright, especially in science and mathematics. Quite reserved, though." Nathan moved toward the girl, drawn by something he couldn't explain. As he got closer, he noticed her eyes were a deep brown, not blue like Lily's. Her face shape was different too, but still something. "Hello, Eleanor, I'm Nathan." "I know who you are," she replied, her voice soft but clear. "You made the atmospheric processors for Mars Colony 3. You solved the oxygen recycling problem with biofilters." Nathan raised his eyebrows. "That's right, are you interested in environmental engineering?" "I'm interested in how things work," she said seriously. "All things." As she spoke, she tilted her head slightly, and Nathan noticed a small birthmark behind her right ear. His breath caught. A crescent-shaped mark identical to the one Lily had been born with. "That's an interesting birthmark," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. Eleanor's hand went to it automatically, covering it. "It's nothing. My daughter had one just like it," Nathan said, watching her reaction closely. Eleanor's eyes widened slightly. Then she looked away. "I need to finish my project," she said abruptly, turning from him. Nathan felt dizzy. It couldn't be possible. Lily would be 11 now. This girl was about that age. The birthmark was identical, but the physical differences were significant. Different. Eye color, different facial structure, and yet... "Is everything all right, Mr. Clark?" Grace asked, approaching with concern. "Yes, fine," he said automatically. "Eleanor seems very intelligent." "Remarkably so. When she first came to us, she was drawing advanced physics diagrams. We thought she was copying from books, but she could explain every detail." "When exactly did she arrive here?" Nathan asked, his heart pounding. "About 5 years ago. A government agency brought her, Children's Services Division. She was found wandering alone near a research facility in Nevada. No identification, no memory of her past. 5 years ago, 1 year after, Lily disappeared." "Would it be possible for me to speak with her more?" Nathan asked. "Perhaps see her file?" Grace looked hesitant. "Her file is mostly confidential, but you could certainly speak with her if she's willing." Nathan nodded, watching Eleanor work methodically on what appeared to be a miniature greenhouse. His mind raced with impossible possibilities. Could it be? After all this time? And if it was somehow Lily, why did she look so different? What had happened to her? He would need to tread carefully. If there was even the slightest chance this was his daughter, he couldn't risk frightening her or alerting whoever might have been involved in her disappearance. "I think I'd like to extend my visit," Nathan said finally. "Perhaps establish a more personal connection with the children here. A mentorship program, maybe." Grace beamed. "That would be wonderful." Nathan smiled and nodded, but his eyes kept returning to Eleanor. The girl who might be his daughter? The girl who had been absent from his life for 6 long years? The girl who might be the key to a mystery that had consumed him? He had come to donate money. He would stay to uncover the truth. Nathan returned to the Horizon Children's Home the next day. He told his company he needed personal time, something he hadn't taken in years. His assistant Olivia looked surprised, but arranged his schedule without questions. She knew better than to ask about the sudden change in his behavior. The director, Grace Martinez, welcomed him with a curious smile. "Mr. Clark, we didn't expect you back so soon." "I've been thinking about setting up a science program here," Nathan said. It wasn't a complete lie. "I'd like to observe the children, see what kind of equipment would benefit them most." Grace nodded, clearly pleased. "Of course, the children are in class now, but you're welcome to sit in." Nathan followed her to a classroom where about 15 children sat at tables working on tablets. A young teacher was moving between them, helping where needed. Nathan's eyes immediately found Eleanor, sitting alone in the corner. Unlike the other children who worked in pairs, she seemed lost in her own world. "That's our science and math class," Grace explained. "Eleanor is our star student there." Nathan watched as Eleanor's fingers moved across her tablet with surprising speed. "May I?" he asked, gesturing toward the classroom. Grace nodded and opened the door. The teacher looked up and smiled when she saw the director and Nathan. "Children, you remember Mr. Clark from yesterday," Grace said. The children looked up with interest. Some waved, others called out greetings. Eleanor didn't look up from her tablet. "Mr. Clark would like to observe your science class today," Grace continued. He's thinking of setting up a special science program here. This caught Eleanor's attention. She finally looked up, her brown eyes meeting Nathan's with that same unsettling intensity from yesterday. "Please don't let me interrupt," Nathan said. "I'll just watch." He took a seat at the back of the classroom, but his attention remained fixed on Eleanor. The teacher returned to helping the students, explaining something about orbital mechanics, in simplified terms. After a few minutes, Nathan moved carefully toward Eleanor's table. He glanced at her tablet screen and froze. She wasn't working on the basic science lesson the other children were doing. Instead, complex equations filled her screen, the kind used in advanced gravitational physics. Equations he recognized from his own work on the Mars habitats. "That's interesting work," he said quietly. Eleanor didn't seem surprised by his presence. "It's simple, really. Just calculating the minimal energy requirements for stable artificial gravity in various situations." "Most adults would disagree about it being simple," Nathan replied. Eleanor shrugged. "Most adults don't think properly." The bluntness made Nathan smile. It reminded him of himself at that age. "Where did you learn about artificial gravity systems?" he asked. Eleanor paused, a slight frown crossing her face. "I don't remember," she said finally. "I just know it." Nathan pulled up a chair and sat beside her. "May I?" he asked, gesturing to her tablet. Hesitantly, she passed it to him. Nathan looked at her equations more closely. They were advanced, but had small errors that suggested self-teaching rather than formal training. "This part here," he said, pointing to a section, "you're not accounting for the energy loss in the conversion process." Eleanor looked at where he was pointing, then quickly made corrections. "Like this?" "Yes, exactly," Nathan said, impressed. "You learn quickly." "I remember things I see," she said, "even if I only see them once." Nathan felt a chill run down his spine. Lily had shown signs of exceptional memory, too. Her doctors had called it eidetic memory, the ability to recall images with extreme precision after seeing them briefly. "Eleanor," he said carefully, "what's your earliest memory?" The girl stiffened. "I don't want to talk about that." "Why not?" "The doctors say it's better not to try too hard to remember. It gives me headaches." "What doctors?" Eleanor looked away. "The ones who checked me when I first came here." Nathan wanted to ask more, but the teacher was approaching them, looking curious about their conversation. "Mr. Clark, are you interested in Eleanor's work? She's quite advanced for her age." "Very advanced," Nathan agreed. "Has she always been this far ahead of her peers?" The teacher nodded. "Since she arrived. We've tried to create special lessons for her, but she often moves beyond what we prepare." After class ended, Nathan asked if he could spend some time with Eleanor in the home's small library. Grace agreed, though she sent a staff member to supervise from a discreet distance. In the quiet corner of the library, Nathan tried again. "Eleanor, I'd like to show you something if that's okay." He pulled out his phone and opened a photo album. He found a picture of Lily on her 5th birthday, the last one before she disappeared. She was laughing, her blue eyes bright with joy, blonde hair, and pigtails. "Do you recognize this girl?" he asked, showing Eleanor the photo. Eleanor stared at the picture for a long moment. Then something strange happened. Her pupils dilated sharply, and she reached out to touch the screen with trembling fingers. She began, then winced in pain. "My head hurts." "It's okay," Nathan said quickly, putting the phone away. "We don't have to talk about it." But Eleanor was already pressing her hands against her temples. "There's bright light," she whispered. "Voices that sound like singing. And floating. Always floating." Nathan's heart raced. Those details weren't public knowledge, but they matched what Lily had scribbled in drawings after claiming she had dreams about the singing people. "Eleanor, do you know who I am?" he asked gently. The girl looked at him with eyes full of confusion and pain. "Sometimes," I think I should know you. But when I try to remember, it hurts. The staff member noticed Eleanor's distress and approached them. Is everything all right? Just a headache, Nathan said smoothly. Eleanor was telling me about the science book she likes to read. Later, as Nathan prepared to leave, he approached Grace in her office. I'd like to see Eleanor's file, if possible. Grace frowned. As I mentioned, most of it is confidential. May I ask why you're so interested in her specifically? Nathan had prepared for this. Her aptitude for physics is remarkable. My foundation sponsors gifted children, and she might qualify for special educational opportunities. Grace hesitated. I can show you the basic information. The rest would require legal permission. The file she showed him was thin, containing little useful information. Eleanor had been found near a research facility in Nevada called Desert Sun Laboratories. No known relatives, no identification. Health exams showed no physical trauma, but she suffered from memory gaps and occasional seizures. The agency that brought her in was listed as Child Welfare Division Special Cases Unit. I've never heard of this division, Nathan said. It handles unusual cases. Children found in sensitive locations or with special needs, Grace explained. Nathan took a photo of the file page with his phone when Grace stepped out briefly to address a staff question. The agency contact information included a phone number with a Washington, D.C. area code. As he drove back to his hotel, Nathan called his head of security, Daniel Powell. I need everything you can find on Desert Sun Laboratories in Nevada and a government agency called Child Welfare Division, Special Cases Unit, he said. What's this about, sir? Daniel asked. Nathan gripped the steering wheel tightly. I think I might have found Lily. Nathan sat in his hotel suite surrounded by files and digital displays. 3 days had passed since he discovered Eleanor at the orphanage. 3 days of little sleep and constant research. Daniel Powell, his security chief, stood by the window, his face grim. The Child Welfare Division Special Cases Unit doesn't exist, Daniel said. At least not officially. The phone number leads to a generic government switchboard that routes to nowhere. Nathan nodded, unsurprised. And Desert Sun Laboratories? On paper, it's a Department of Energy research site studying solar power, but satellite images show much more security than a solar research facility would need. Armed guards, restricted airspace, underground levels. Nathan pulled up an image on his tablet. Like this? Daniel looked at the photo. It showed a facility in the Nevada desert with high fences and guard towers. Where did you get this? Lily drew it, Nathan said quietly. A month before she disappeared. She said she saw it in her dreams. Daniel's expression darkened. That's not possible. I know. Nathan rubbed his tired eyes. What about the medical records? Daniel handed him another tablet. Eleanor's blood work shows anomalies. Her DNA has markers that don't match any known patterns. The doctors noted it but didn't investigate further, or were told not to. And the comparison? Daniel hesitated. We got Lily's medical records from before the incident. The basic markers match Eleanor's. Blood type, genetic predispositions, even the rare enzyme variant Lily had that made her allergic to certain medications. But Eleanor's current DNA also has these unexplained sequences, and physically she's different. Eye color, hair color, bone structure. Nathan paced the room. Could they have altered her somehow, changed her appearance? With current medical technology? No, not this completely. Daniel paused. Unless what? Unless they use technology we don't know about. Daniel said this reluctantly, knowing how it sounded. Nathan stopped pacing. 6 years ago, he would have dismissed such talk. But the attack on the lunar facility had changed everything. The official reports called it a meteor strike, but Nathan had seen the footage before it was confiscated. The lights, the impossible movement patterns. It wasn't human technology. I need more time with Eleanor, Nathan decided. I need to know what she remembers. The next day, Nathan arrived at the orphanage with a plan, He had donated additional money for a special science program and volunteered to teach the first session himself. Grace was delighted, giving him use of a small classroom for the afternoon. 12 children attended, including Eleanor. Nathan led them through a basic lesson about space travel, watching Eleanor carefully. While the other children were excited by the rockets and spacewalks, Eleanor seemed almost bored. After the lesson, as the children worked on drawings of their own space missions, Nathan approached Eleanor's desk. "You didn't find the lesson interesting?" he asked. Eleanor looked up. "Chemical rockets are inefficient. Ion drives are better for long-distance space travel." "You're right," Nathan agreed, "but ion drives are slow to accelerate." "There are better ways," Eleanor said quietly. "Such as?" Eleanor glanced around, then began to draw on her paper. It wasn't a rocket or a spaceship. It was a complex diagram of what looked like a propulsion system, but unlike any Nathan had seen before. "Gravity manipulation," she explained in a whisper. "Using focused fields to create a pocket of altered spacetime in front of the craft, while expanding spacetime behind it." Nathan's blood ran cold. What she was describing was theoretical at best, something only a handful of physicists had proposed. It was also exactly what his company's secret research division had been working on when Lily disappeared. "Where did you learn about this?" he asked, keeping his voice steady. Eleanor frowned. "I don't know, I just know it works." After the class ended, Nathan asked Grace if he could take Eleanor to a science museum exhibit on Saturday. He presented it as an educational opportunity for a gifted student. Grace was hesitant but eventually agreed when Eleanor expressed interest. That night, Nathan received a call from Daniel. "Someone accessed our company servers today. They were looking for your schedule and recent activities." "Government?" "No. The attack came from somewhere off-planet. Lunar Colony 4. Nathan's grip tightened on his phone. "That's where it happened, where Lily disappeared." "There's more," Daniel continued. "I found a record of a private medical clinic in Switzerland that specializes in memory recovery. They might be able to help Eleanor remember without causing her pain." Saturday morning, Nathan picked up Eleanor from the orphanage in his electric car. The girl seemed excited but nervous. "Have you been to a science museum before?" Nathan asked, as they drove. "I don't think so," Eleanor replied. "But I feel like I've seen most of those things already." They weren't really going to a museum. Nathan had arranged for a private doctor to meet them at his company's local office. The doctor specialized in helping trauma victims recover blocked memories. It wasn't the Swiss clinic, but it might provide some answers. As they drove, Nathan decided to try a different approach. "Eleanor, do you ever dream about space, not just rockets, but actually being in space?" Eleanor stared out the window. "Yes. I dream I'm floating in a room with curved walls. There are windows, but the stars look wrong." "Wrong how?" "Too big, too colorful. And there are shadows moving between them." Nathan's hands trembled slightly on the steering wheel. He took a deep breath. "Eleanor, I'm going to tell you something that might sound strange. I think you might be my daughter." Eleanor turned to him, her expression unreadable. "Your daughter is dead, that's what they told me." Nathan nearly drove off the road. "What? Who told you that?" "The voices. When I sleep, they say, 'She thinks you're dead.' Everyone thinks you're dead. It's better that way." Before Nathan could respond, a black SUV swerved into their lane. Nathan hit the brakes, but another SUV appeared behind them. "What's happening?" Eleanor asked, fear in her voice. "I don't know," Nathan said, trying to maneuver around the vehicles. "But stay calm." A third vehicle pulled alongside them. The window rolled down, and Nathan saw a man in a dark suit aiming what looked like a gun. But instead of firing, the man pointed the device at Eleanor. A blue light flashed. Eleanor screamed, clutching her head. Then her eyes rolled back and she slumped in her seat. "Eleanor," Nathan shouted. The SUVs forced him to the side of the road. Men in suits surrounded the car. One opened Eleanor's door and reached for her. "Get away from her," Nathan yelled, trying to protect her. A woman in a lab coat approached. Mr. Clark, you don't understand what you're dealing with. The child is not what you think. She's my daughter, Nathan insisted. The woman shook her head. No, Mr. Clark. What's inside her might remember your daughter. But that body was grown in a lab 6 years ago. A vessel. Nathan stared at the unconscious Eleanor, his world shifting beneath him. A vessel for what? The woman's expression was grim. That's what we've been trying to find out. And now, thanks to you, they know we've found her. Above them, the sky suddenly darkened as a shadow passed over the sun. Everyone looked up at the sky. The shadow wasn't a cloud. It was something massive and dark, blocking the sun in an impossible way. The air grew cold. Get them in the vehicles now, the woman in the lab coat ordered. The men grabbed Eleanor and began moving her to one of the black SUVs. No! Nathan lunged forward, but 2 agents held him back. She stays with me. Mr. Clark, the woman said firmly. I'm Dr. Linda Foster with Government Special Research. Your daughter wasn't killed. 6 years ago, she was taken. What we don't know is why they sent back this copy. The sky darkened further. The thing above them was getting larger. What is that? Nathan demanded, looking up. Dr. Foster's face paled. They're coming back. We need to move. A high-pitched noise cut through the air, making everyone cover their ears. Nathan used the distraction to break free. He ran to Eleanor, who was being placed in the back of an SUV. He pushed past an agent and grabbed her limp body. As he touched her, Eleanor's eyes snapped open. But they weren't brown anymore. They glowed with a blue light. Nathan Clark, she said, but her voice was different, deeper, with a strange echo. Time is short. The Watchers have found us. Nathan stared in shock. Lily? This body holds Lily's memories, but I am not only your daughter, the voice from Eleanor's body said. I am also Ailra, from what you would call the Andromeda Galaxy. The agent stood frozen in astonishment. Dr. Foster approached slowly. Who are the Watchers? She asked. Eleanor's glowing eyes turned to her. They hunt beings like me, collectors of knowledge. They destroy what they cannot understand. A beam of light shot down from the dark shape above, hitting the ground nearby. The earth shook. We must leave, Eleanor Ailra said. They will destroy this area to find me. Nathan made a quick decision. My car, now. He lifted Eleanor and ran toward his vehicle. To his surprise, Dr. Foster followed him. Wait, she called. You don't know what you're dealing with. Neither do you, Nathan shot back, placing Eleanor in the passenger seat. Dr. Foster jumped into the back just as Nathan started the engine. The agents began firing weapons at the light in the sky, but their bullets did nothing. Another beam hit closer, flipping one of the SUVs. Nathan sped away, driving as fast as he could. In the seat beside him, Eleanor sat unnaturally still, those glowing blue eyes staring ahead. What happened to my daughter? Nathan demanded. Is she still in there somewhere? Your daughter was special, Eleanor Ailra said. Her brain patterns were compatible with my species. We can share consciousness with beings like her. You possessed her? Nathan's voice shook with anger. No, I saved her. The Watchers attacked your moon base to find me. I had been hiding there, studying humans. When they came, I needed a host to escape. Lily was the only compatible mind. So you took her body? I took her consciousness. This body was grown later, using her DNA combined with adaptations for my energy pattern. Dr. Foster leaned forward from the back seat. We detected the energy transfer 6 years ago but couldn't understand it. We've been tracking unusual energy signatures ever since. Where is Lily's real body? Nathan asked, his hands tight on the steering wheel. It was destroyed in the attack, Eleanor Ailra said simply. But her mind, her memories, everything that made her Lily is preserved within me. Nathan felt sick. Then she's really gone. Not gone. Changed. Merged. We share this existence now. Another beam of light struck the road behind them. Nathan swerved as the pavement cracked. "They're tracking us," Dr. Foster said, looking back. "We need to reach the research facility. We have shielding technology there." "No," Eleanor Aylra said firmly. "Your shields cannot stop them. We must reach a place where the Earth's magnetic field is stronger." "Where?" Nathan asked. "The northern mountains. There are caves with natural magnetic properties that can hide us." Nathan glanced at the gas gauge. "That's hundreds of miles away. We won't make it." Eleanor Aylra placed a hand on the car's dashboard. Blue energy spread from her fingers into the vehicle's systems. The engine sound changed and the car accelerated with impossible speed. "What did you do?" Nathan gasped as the speedometer climbed beyond its maximum reading. "Temporary enhancement," she replied. "This vehicle will now function beyond its design parameters, but it will not last long." They raced along the highway, other cars blurring past. Above them, the dark shape moved with them, staying just out of sight in the clouds. "Can Lily hear me?" Nathan asked after a long silence. "Can she come forward?" Eleanor Aylra turned those glowing eyes to him. "She is always present. We are not separate entities anymore, but—" The glow in her eyes flickered and faded. The brown color returned, but somehow softer, more familiar despite the difference from Lily's original blue. "Dad?" The voice was higher now, a child's voice. "Dad, I've missed you." Nathan nearly drove off the road. "Lily, is it really you?" "It's complicated," she said, sounding exactly like his daughter despite the different body. "I'm Lily, but I'm also Aylra now. We're together in here. Can you separate? Can we get you your own body again?" Lily Eleanor shook her head sadly. "No, that's not possible anymore." "But it's okay, Dad. Aylra isn't bad. She's helped me, taught me amazing things." "Why didn't you come back to me sooner?" Nathan asked, his voice breaking. "They were hunting us. Aylra thought it was safer if everyone believed I was dead. We've been hiding, moving from place to place. The orphanage was supposed to be temporary, but then you came." Dr. Foster spoke up from the back seat. "What do these watchers want?" The blue glow returned to Eleanor's eyes as Aylra took control again. "They are the guardians of knowledge in their society. They believe some knowledge is too dangerous to share. My people collect and preserve all knowledge, sharing it freely with other species. We are enemies by nature." Another beam struck nearby, closer this time. The car shuddered. "They're getting better at targeting us," Dr. Foster warned. "We cannot outrun them much longer," Aylra said. "Nathan Clark, there is something you must know about your daughter." "What?" Nathan asked, dreading the answer. "The knowledge I carry, combined with Lily's unique mind, has created something new. Something the Watchers fear even more than my people." "What does that mean?" The blue eyes looked at him with what almost seemed like sadness. "It means your daughter now carries the knowledge to advance human technology by centuries, faster than light travel, clean, unlimited energy, extended lifespans. Why is that bad? Because such advancement always comes with a price. The Watchers believe they protect the galaxy by controlling who receives such knowledge and when." Another impact, even closer. The car's enhanced systems began to fail. The engine sputtered. "We're not going to make it to the mountains," Nathan said. Eleanor Aylra looked at him with determination. "Then we make our stand here." The car rolled to a stop on a deserted stretch of mountain road. Trees lined both sides and a cliff edge dropped away to their right. The dark shape in the sky seemed to hover directly above them now, a massive shadow against the clouds. "We can't fight them," Dr. Foster said, her voice tight with fear. "Their technology is too advanced." Nathan looked at Eleanor, whose eyes still glowed that unearthly blue. "Is there another way? Can we negotiate?" "The Watchers do not negotiate," Eleanor Aylra said. "They enforce. They destroy what they cannot control." A beam of light shot down from the ship, but instead of striking them, it formed a circle around their car. Inside the circle, the air shimmered. "They're creating a containment field," Eleanor Aylra explained. "They want to capture us, not destroy us. They want the knowledge I carry. Then let them have it, Nathan said desperately. If it means you, both of you, will be safe. Eleanor Aylra shook her head. The knowledge won't be separated from us. They will take us with it, study us, then dispose of us when they have what they want. Dr. Foster pulled a small device from her pocket. I have a signal jammer, military grade. It might disrupt their field long enough for us to escape on foot. It won't work against their technology, Eleanor Aylra said. The shimmering in the air grew stronger. The hair on Nathan's arm stood up from the static electricity. There must be something we can do, he insisted. Eleanor Aylra was silent for a moment, as if listening to something only she could hear. Then she spoke, her voice softer. There is one possibility, but it carries great risk. What is it? Nathan asked. I can share the knowledge with you both. Not all of it, that would overwhelm your minds, but enough to create a network, 3 points instead of 1. It will confuse their tracking systems. How would that help? Dr. Foster asked. The Watchers hunt by finding unique energy patterns. If the same pattern exists in multiple places, they cannot isolate their target. Nathan didn't hesitate. Do it. Dr. Foster looked less certain. What will this do to us? You will gain knowledge, understanding of things beyond current human science. It will change you but not harm you. A loud humming sound filled the air. The car began to vibrate. We don't have much time, Eleanor Aylra said urgently. Dr. Foster nodded reluctantly. All right. Eleanor Aylra placed one hand on Nathan's forehead and one on Dr. Foster's. Her touch was warm, almost hot. Blue light spread from her fingers, and Nathan felt a rush of information flood his mind. Images, equations, concepts he had never imagined raced through his thoughts. He saw stars from impossible angles, understood gravity as a fabric that could be folded and manipulated, saw energy as patterns that could be reshaped by thought. It was overwhelming, beautiful, and terrifying all at once. When Eleanor Aylra removed her hands, Nathan gasped. The world looked different to him now. He could see the energy flowing through everything, the trees, the ground, Dr. Foster, and, most intensely, through Eleanor. It worked, Dr. Foster whispered, staring at her own hands in wonder. I can see it. All of it. The containment field around them flickered and then stabilized again, but now it seemed less certain, shifting between them. The Watchers are confused, Eleanor Aylra said. They cannot determine which of us contains the primary knowledge pattern. But this advantage will not last long. As if in response, a new beam shot down from the ship. This one was different. Red instead of blue. When it touched the ground, the earth shook. They've decided to take us all, Eleanor Aylra said grimly. Nathan's mind raced with his new understanding. The car, he said suddenly. I can see how to modify it. Working with the speed and confidence that came from his new knowledge, Nathan reached under the dashboard of his car. He rearranged circuits and components with bare hands, guided by his enhanced perception. What are you doing? Dr. Foster asked. Creating a pulse generator, Nathan replied, his fingers moving with precision. He never knew he possessed. It will disrupt their containment field for a few seconds. Enough time for what? Dr. Foster pressed. For them to escape, Eleanor Aylra said quietly. Nathan looked up sharply. What do you mean, them? We're all leaving. Eleanor Aylra, Lily, shook her head. No, Dad. The Watchers will not stop hunting as long as I exist, as long as this combined consciousness exists. You and Dr. Foster now carry pieces of the knowledge, enough to help humanity advance, but not enough to draw the Watchers. Full attention. I'm not leaving you, Nathan said fiercely. You must. The glow in Eleanor's eyes dimmed, and for a moment she looked exactly like the child he remembered. Dad, I'm not the little girl you lost anymore. I've become something else, something that needs to leave Earth for everyone's safety. What are you saying? Nathan felt cold despite the energy burning through him. When you activate the pulse, the containment field will fail. The Watchers will be vulnerable for a moment. I will use that moment to go to them. Surrender? Dr. Foster asked. No. Challenge. I know their weaknesses now. Eleanor smiled. Their ship is powerful, but I understand it better than they do. I can take control of it. And then what? Nathan demanded. Then I lead them away from Earth. Far away. And I use what I know to make sure they never bother humanity again. Nathan shook his head, tears filling his eyes. I just found you. I can't lose you again. Eleanor took his hand. Her small fingers felt warm against his skin. You never lost. Me, Dad, and you never will. Part of me will always be with you now. She touched his forehead. In here. The red beam intensified. The car began to lift from the ground. It's time, Eleanor said. Nathan completed the final connection in his makeshift device. A wave of energy spread outward, and the containment field shattered like glass. The car dropped back to the ground with a crash. Eleanor stepped out, blue, energy now surrounding her entire body. She looked at Nathan one last time. I love you, Dad. Take what I've given you and build something amazing. Before Nathan could stop her, she rose into the air, floating upward toward the massive ship. As she approached it, the dark shape convulsed as if in pain or surprise. Nathan and Dr. Foster watched as Eleanor disappeared into the vessel. Moments later, the ship's surface rippled with blue light, the same blue as Eleanor's eyes. The massive craft turned slowly and began to move away, accelerating until it was just a point of light among the stars. On the mountain road, Nathan stared up at the now clear sky, tears streaming down his face. Dr. Foster stood beside him, silent in shared wonder and grief. She's really gone, Nathan whispered. Not gone, Dr. Foster said softly. Changed, and she left us a gift. Nathan nodded, feeling the knowledge humming in his mind, the understanding that would allow humanity to reach for the stars in ways they had only dreamed of before. He looked down at his hands and saw the faint blue glow beneath his skin, a reminder of his daughter, who had become something more than human but had remained to the end his little girl. Come on, he said to Dr. Foster. We have work to do. Above them, a new star seemed to shine brighter than the others, moving fast, heading out beyond the solar system. Nathan watched until it disappeared from sight, carrying his daughter to new adventures among the distant stars.